Hi guys, I'm back again with the next episode. In the first video, we talked about the reasons why I chose to migrate to Australia with my 5-year-old daughter. And today's video is about the experiences that happened or that I went through in the initial few days after landing. So we landed on 27th of August 2018, and we were picked up by a volunteer from the Adelaide government because I had opted for a free pickup from the airport to my B&B that I had pre-booked. So this gentleman picked us up, and took us out of the airport in his car. And the initial experience was great. You could see the sky clear. You could not feel any pollution in the air. There was a very slight chill because it's nearing the close of winters in August here. And the roads were clear, the traffic was smooth, something which I've not even seen, in years. Probably that's the traffic you get on a festival day like, Diwali or Holi. So the initial impression was nice. I was like, I have done a good job, it's such a nice place to be. And with that happiness, the gentleman dropped us off at the B&B. And the B&B was such that the owner was not living there. She was in a different city and she was just giving out this unit for lease. She had an, arrangement where the key was kept outside. So we opened the key of the door and we got in, and we realized the B&B was not ready for us. We were apparently a little earlier than they expected. So it was not clean and the fridge had no breakfast supplies, and it was a 22-hour flight that we had come from. So we were really hungry and exhausted. I tried calling the B&B owner, but she did not answer. Maybe it was too early in the morning for her. Anyways, I thought while I should wait a little longer, let me just get connected and inform my people that I've landed. So I tried connecting to the Wi-Fi. I am technologically challenged, so I just click on Wi-Fi and you'll have Wi-Fi options coming in and then you connect. And I tried doing that and there was no Wi-Fi showing. So I was like, what happened? Where's the modem? So I kept looking for the modem, went to every room, under the bed, inside the cupboard or kitchen, and I just could not find a modem. I was like, what is it? Does the internet work here? Is it all in the air? Do you not have a device? So I went to the initial advertisement of the B&B and I saw in the facilities listed, there was no Wi-Fi listed. And I had seen so many options that I just overlooked that aspect, and I was devastated because without internet, without being able to research, living in that place for 2 weeks would have been tough. So then I had to also inform people that we've landed. I had not told anybody. I didn't have a local number by then. So Softy and I had to step out right after 10 minutes of our landing. And we went outside to look for a store to ask somebody, how to get a local number. So we went out on the street and it was a residential area, so I could not see any stores. I kept walking and I have the phobia of getting lost. So if I'm on an unknown street, I get very scared that what if, I am lost. And there was no Google map working because there's no internet. Anyways, we passed 2-3 streets and then I saw a cafe, right out opposite, to where we were standing, and it had breakfast arrangement I could make out. And the best part was the glass of the cafe read free Wi-Fi. I was like, okay, let's go there. So we had to cross the road, and the red light for the pedestrian crossing was red. So I kept standing waiting for it to go green, and it was just not going green. I was waiting, we waited for quite some time, and then we had a couple of more people to join the queue of wait. And the moment they approached us, there was a pole, just alongside, and there was a round button. So they came and they pressed that button. And very few minutes after that, the light changed. So possibly that is what you have to do every time you have to cross, and I didn't know about it. So I could have waited there for forever and the lights wouldn't have changed. I was like, oh god, I hope they don't know either. I didn't know about that. Anyways, we crossed, went to the cafe, all tensed any which ways. I ordered some sandwiches for us, and I asked the cafe owner how to get a local number. He suggested, he was very helpful. I told him it's just an hour here in your country. He was very polite. He said, anytime you have any problem, just walk up to us. And he directed us to a store 2 streets away. The first thing was I also connected to the Wi-Fi of the cafe, and I dropped messages to everybody that I've reached. And I called up one of my sister to vent out. She was in Singapore then, so the timing was a little better because uh, with India, the time gap at that time was 4 hours. With Singapore, it was 2 hours, I believe. So I called her. I was like, "Oh, I'm in a mess. This is what it is, and I'm so tired." And she cooled me down. She was like, "Don't freak out. Just get a number and catch up some sleep." So that's what we did. Softy and I finished our breakfast, and we went to that store, got a local SIM, picked up some basic breakfast stuff, and returned to our B&B. There were a few ladies there to do the cleaning by then, so we waited for them to finish the job for another 15-20 minutes, and then uh, after they left, we had our breakfast and we just slept, crashed. Next morning was an interview scheduled for me through one of my ex-clients in his company, and that was actually a backfill position because there was this lady who was holding a very critical position going on a 3 weeks vacation, and that work could not been done for 3 weeks, so they were looking for a backfill for that lady. And I got myself and Softy ready in the morning and went to the office. I made Softy sit at the reception with her coloring books, went for the interview. Thankfully, it was a very short and a sweet interview. And by the evening of that day, I got a call that they would like to offer the position. I was like, yay, awesome. I told my family, and they were in a state of shock because everybody was worried. Adelaide is a place where you may have to struggle for a few days or weeks to get a job, a full-time job. You have a lot of options, casual jobs and stuff. But getting a full-time job is a bit of a struggle. So that major thing was taken care of instantly, was such an amazing thing. But with that came separate pressure that now, because I will start full-time work, I have not understood the place. Softy has not been enrolled. There's no engagement for her thought of at all. So time was running out of me. Anyways, I had one day in between that, between my joining date and the day they told me. So I spent that entire day calling up and visiting different daycares, and finally got to enroll Softy in one of the daycares, which was very close to my office. Now, daycares are very expensive here. Very expensive. As in, it's $110 per day, which is very expensive. But I didn't have a choice. Softy was in 5. She couldn't have started formal school. And I did not understand currency very well then. So I didn't even know what is it, how bad it is. And I had to pay. So I enrolled her in the daycare. So that another, important thing got ticked off. And then it was the day when I had to start work and Softy was to start daycare. I booked a cab, got both of us ready. I dropped her off at the daycare. Obviously, she cried a lot because she wasn't speaking in English a lot until then. She was quite shy in speaking that language, and it's only English that was to be spoken there. She was not able to understand a lot what people were talking to her about. So, it was a helpless situation for her, and obviously staying away from me. So she cried, I cried, but you can't do anything. I knew we have to get through to it. So I then went to work. The first 2 days that I had to shadow her work, this lady was very busy. She had too much on her plate, and she basically could not train me much. She scribbled some stuff for me. I am sorry about this fly. Yeah, she scribbled some stuff for me, and I had to just keep listening and watching what she's doing and pick up stuff. It's solar industry, completely new industry. But I was told that I would probably not be doing all of what she's doing, because to do all of what she was doing was a tough one. So maybe a chunk of what she was doing. But after she went on vacation, after those 2 days, I realized that it's an entire backfill. So all that she was doing, and it was difficult even for her. She was in the company for 5 years. I would have to take charge. Day 3, which was the first day without her, was really, really difficult. I stepped in the office and I had issues raised from 3 different colleagues of mine, such critical issues that they had to be resolved in few minutes, or there was a lot of revenue loss for the company. The people waiting to get an update. I did not even understand those issues. Forget about giving a resolution. But anyways, I had a few colleagues who were very helpful, so they tried as much they could, and the days kept passing. There were a few days it was so tough. I would, just want to stop working and just cry, cry, and cry, because it's not a pleasant feeling. I'm not used to this feeling that I don't know my work. I like to know it all. So it was a very difficult feeling. Anyways, days kept passing. I was trying to learn my work, and Softy was trying to settle in. And 2 weeks went by, and then there was additional next pressure, which was the B&B booking was for 2 weeks, and I had to vacate, and I didn't know where to go. I had not looked for a house, because looking for a house means you have to be available on the weekdays in the office hours, because that has to be done through brokers, and brokers are only available then. And I had only joined a new place, so I could not have taken leaves or anything like that. So I knew there are arrangements of shared accommodation. I was like, let's begin with that. It's just one and a half of us. So I called up a lot of people. I went to different websites. There were advertisements made of people wanting to, give out 1 or 2 rooms. I called a lot of people. I told them that, I would be living in with my 5-year-old daughter. And most of them sounded very reluctant, because 5-year-old is quite capable of making a havoc of their nicely cleaned walls and doors and linens. So they were reluctant. I was getting very frustrated. Where would we be living? I didn't want to, spend a lot of money in a B&B or a hotel booking, and I had to start living a normal life. So finally, there was one advertisement. It was of a 2-bedroom unit, and it was owned by a guy called Alex, and he was wanting to give out 1 room. And the good part was there were just 2 rooms and 1 washroom to be shared, which was nice, because of the many options that I saw. There were 3-4 bedrooms sharing 1 washroom. So, and then they didn't even want me. So amidst all the confusion, this option sounded quite good. And best was when I told Alex that I will be moving in. Alex, by the way, is actually an English name kept by a Pakistani national, because he thought his ad would get more notice if he puts a name like that. So he was very excited to know that I'll be moving in with a child. So that was a big plus. I was like, for a change, there's somebody who's happy. So I went, met him. He seemed a very decent guy, few years younger to me, and has been here for many years. And he said that he works 2-3 jobs at a time, and so he won't be home much. So I went ahead and I gave him the initial advance, and I said, okay, I'll be moving in few hours, and everything seemed all right. But was it all right? Was it okay living in a shared accommodation? Was Softy able to cope up? Was I able to cope up with the work pressure? All this and more in the next episode.